What's going on, my beautiful DC brothers and sisters? It's your boy, the Truth 31. Hit like, subscribe for all that DC goodness on that face, neck, and chest. And concerning the Snyderverse, I'm going to drop some truth that's going to hit harder than watching the Redditor housewife in the music biopic Britney Rears. So without further ado, let's break this bitch down and let's see what we get.
Oh, Lord.
There is so much drama within the Snyderverse community, and as you can see, there is a clear divide between people who are pro Zack Snyder and nobody else, right? They want the Snyderverse directed by Zack Snyder, and if you're not going to deliver that for me, I am not going to support DC films. And then you have the other side who's like, hey, I love Zack Snyder, I love the Snyderverse, but as you can clearly see, there is no communication with Zack Snyder and David Zaslav, and there's nothing to really talk about within the Snyderverse. And I'm on that camp. And those two sides are just battling out like it's fucking King Kong and Godzilla on a daily basis. And I'm here to tell you, guys, like Jay Oliver said, there's nothing in the plans right now. And the problem mostly stems from these scoopers, the shitosities, these syllab bullshits who are constantly telling the fan base, giving them false hope, telling them each and every day, hey, guess what? Zack Snyder just signed a new contract. Hey, guess what? Zack Snyder just had a table read with David Zaslav and they're negotiating a new contract. Hey, guess what? Zack Snyder is actually in store to direct all 10 Justice League films. And I'm like, guys, that is complete bullshit. And that's the main problem, is these scoopers out here that are giving you false hope. And that's why there is this clear divide within the fandom and people just don't want to listen. And I get it. I absolutely get it. We all want Zack Snyder. We all want Zack Snyder to continue with this 5-story arc. But you can clearly see from what we're seeing right now with the new direction that David Zaslav wants to take the DCEU within the 10-year plan. And within the 10-year plan, Zack Snyder is not involved. Because how is Zack Snyder, answer me this, how is Zack Snyder going to be involved with directing another Justice League sequel when he had zero conversations with David Zaslav? And there's no secret meeting, there's no NDA. Jay Oliver explicitly said on Twitter, hey guys, there's no communications. There hasn't been any communications for a long time, which shocked me because I thought there was some communication at least just to gauge an interest on Zack Snyder's camp or David Zaslav's camp. Obviously, there's no interest whatsoever. And as you can see, Zack Snyder is busy with Rebel Moon, he's busy with Planet of the Dead, he's busy with the Twilight of the Gods. So he's a busy man. He's going to be busy for several years. So within those several years, DCEU, especially with, I was going to say Black Adam, with The Rock leading the charge going forward, they're going to go in a different direction. They're going to go in a different direction, whether we like it or not. And my hope, my plea is if you're a DC fan, if you're a Zack Snyder fan, then support these actors. Because I can guarantee you this, Zack Snyder is so happy that his actors are continuing to have great success with Jason Momoa's Aquaman, with Henry Cavill's Superman coming back, thank God, with hopefully Batfleck, with Gal Gadot, Ezra Miller. We'll see what happens with Ray Fisher. He wants his cast to succeed. So if you're a Zack Snyder fan, which we all are, then we should hope that his cast succeeds with these new upcoming movies. Because let me tell you something right now, the whole 10-year plan, it doesn't fit with Zack Snyder, because Zack Snyder had a 5-movie arc, and that 5-movie arc contradicts with what Zack Snyder is about to do, but what David Zaslav wants to do for the DCEU going forward. It contradicts it. And the whole Final Crisis, I don't see how the Final Crisis will work within the 10-year plan, considering the Final Crisis is final, emphasis on Final Crisis. So if it's Final Crisis, that means shit is going to end. And they don't want this to end. They want this to be like Marvel, as in multiple Batman movies, multiple Superman movies, and multiple Wonder Womans and Flash and Aquamans, etc., and Supermans. That's what they want to do. That's what they want to do. And our best option was HBO Max, so Zack Snyder can, take his Elseworlds story and finish off his story there. But obviously, David Zaslav said, no, we're not going to put anything on HBO Max. Most of the big event DC movies are going to be theatrical. And that's the problem. Zack Snyder's story arc doesn't mesh with what David Zaslav wants to do going forward. It doesn't mesh. It doesn't. And I'm not saying to, give up on the hashtag or give up on the Snyder. No, I'm not saying that. But you have to understand that they're not going to continue with what Zack Snyder did, at least not right now, at least for several years. And we have to see what happens. If Black Adam is a success and Flash, then the DCEU is really going to go forward and go in the completely opposite direction. Like, that's just the hard truth. And Zack Snyder will always be involved in some capacity because that's his cast. If you love Zack Snyder, if you love the Snyderverse, then guess what? Support his cast, because his cast to me is Snyderverse. People ask me, Truth, what is the Snyderverse to you? To me, the Snyderverse is the cast. As long as the cast continues and we get a big success with this cast and we get multiple Justice League films, that's great. That's great. And Darkseid will be the main villain for sure, right? Because everyone is worried about, Dwayne Johnson being the main villain. No. Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam will be a pit stop. The main villain and the main destination will be Darkseid. However, we're just going to take a different route to get there as opposed to what Zack Snyder was going to do. That's basically what they're going to do. Darkseid is the main villain. Darkseid is the main destination. But we're not going to follow what Zack Snyder did. And that's just what they're going to do. They're going to go in a different direction. I know some hardcore Snyder fans are gonna fucking hate that, but if you're like I said, if you're a DC fan, if you're a Zack Snyder fan, support what he's doing with Netflix and support these actors because this is Snyderverse. The cast is Snyderverse, all right? So those are my thoughts. Hit like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Discord. Join Truth Army. Should have liked the video, be so kind. And as always, put your comments down below and tell me what you think. They think Truth Snyderverse is gonna happen in the year 2024. You don't know what you're talking about, okay? All right, you gave up, but you think Truth. I hear you. Let's see what happens. But I agree that right now, there's no plans. And we have to see what this new direction for Warner Brothers is. It may be great. It may be shit. All right. Love you all. Stay safe. Truth out.